on It's Supernatural. John Kilpatrick was given a supernatural dream of an earthquake hitting the middle of the United States. Then God told him a storm is coming, a financial and natural catastrophe. Now he's advising people to make preparations concerning this summer. Find out how you too can be prepared against the coming crisis.
We now return to It's Supernatural.
Hello, Sid Roth here with John Kilpatrick. And John, April 2008, yes. You had a dream. What did God show you?
It was a very stirring dream. I never had one that real before. When I woke up, it stirred me to the point that I asked my wife to hold me, and I'm, a grown man, and I've never done that ever before with a dream of any kind. But I dreamed of an earthquake that took place. It was shown to me in several stages, and I won't go through the details of it. But the Lord showed me that an earthquake was going to hit in the middle part of the country, right where the New Madrid Fault is. And it was so real that when the Lord showed it to me, that I'd walk by the television set for several days after that, and in my mind I couldn't understand why it wasn't on television.
I can understand that.
That's how real it was. But the Lord was showing me, I believe, that if we continue to fool with Jerusalem, and our Secretary of State and our President keeps putting pressure on Israel to give up land and to give up Jerusalem for peace, I believe that a major earthquake is going to strike America.
So what you're saying is, if we pressure Israel to divide up their land, our land will be divided.
I believe that with all my heart. I'm thoroughly convinced of it. And it was right in the middle of the country, and what I saw on there was Indianola, and like an old Spanish map. I saw the word Indianola, and then I saw it scroll down a little bit southwest, and I saw the word Europa, and that was in Missouri. And if you superimpose the New Madrid Fault between Indianola, Illinois, and Europa, Missouri, that is basically an exact replica of the New Madrid Fault. And I won't go through the details of the dream, but it was very, very real.
Well, then a few days later, you heard God's voice.
Yes.
What did he say to you?
That was on Tuesday, and on Saturday morning I woke up as I was coming out of sleep, and I heard the Lord say to me in an audible voice as I was coming out of sleep, he said, a storm is coming. And I live in hurricane territory. I live in the coast of Alabama. And so I knew that it wasn't a hurricane. I knew that it was an economic storm that was coming. I went immediately to my church the next day on Sunday, and I said, I'm just going to be honest with you and tell you what the Lord showed me. I said, you can take it for whatever it's worth for you. But I said, I feel like the Holy Spirit was showing me that an economic storm is coming, and I'd like for you to be prepared. And so it began to grow from there. And even during Y2K, I never encouraged the church to ever stockpile any kind of food, water, anything like that. Never did, never felt it. But that was in May of 2008, and then the financial catastrophe struck around September, and it's still going. And one of the things the Holy Spirit said to me was, he said, prepare against the summer, which is this coming summer. Summer starts in June, the latter part of June. And I don't know why he said prepare against the summer. He didn't say prepare for the summer. He said prepare against the summer. So I really feel like that whatever is coming is something that the church needs to be prepared for. And I would really encourage people right now, and I'm not trying to engender fear. I'm not that type of person, but I'd really encourage people, if they could, to put up some beans and rice, some extra cash, things like that, other things that they can do to prepare for them and their families. Because I believe with all my heart that if President Obama and Secretary of State Clinton continues to put pressure on Israel to give up Jerusalem and to give up parts of Israel for peace, land for peace, I believe that America is going to go on the skids. And I believe that our land is going to be divided, and I believe it could be the financial end, and it could be the end of America as we know it.
On January 1st of 2009, God spoke to John again and gave him 12 points of which will shortly happen in the United States of America. Although in the natural, you could be really upset as you hear these various points. In the supernatural, I have never heard a more encouraging word from God in my life for those that have intimacy with God. And those that have intimacy with God, it's going to be one of the greatest times of your life. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this word.
We'll be right back. to It's Supernatural. We now return to It's Supernatural.
Hello, Sid Roth here with Pastor John Kilpatrick, and John was, as they say, minding his own business, having dinner with his wife. Someone did something nice. They paid the bill, and suddenly God spoke to him. What did he say?
First day of this year, 2009, January the 1st, and the Holy Spirit spoke to me, and he said, I'm going to give you a prophetic message from a word that has 12 letters in it. He said, each one of these letters will be a prophetic word that I want you to give, and it's not just for this year, but it's for the next 3 years. And so immediately I began to try to think of a word that had 12 letters in it, and I couldn't, and the Holy Spirit said, no. He said, I'll give you the word. He said, the word is resurrection. And I counted off real quickly in my mind, and sure enough, it came up 12 letters, just like the Holy Spirit said. And he started off, and it was more like a download than it was hearing every little exquisite paragraph or sentence, but it was like a download. And I jotted them down, just like a download. I mean, in a matter of seconds.
When will this take place?
I believe over the next 3 years.
What I'd like to do is talk about a few of the letters,
okay,
what the words mean, and then what the prophecy connected with the words are.
Yes.
For instance, S, signs in the heaven.
Yes, R-E-S. When he got to S, I heard the Holy Spirit say there's going to be an increase of supernatural signs in the heavens. He said it won't be natural phenomena, and they won't even be able to explain it. He said, but it'll be supernatural signs in the heavens. And he said, I want you to talk about it and prep my people, prep the church for it, because he said if the church is not prepped, it will terrorize them. They'll be afraid. He said, but if they're prepped and they realize it's a sign of my soon coming, a sign and a wonder, he said it will encourage them.
That's what I found about everything God showed you. Although they're devastating things that will happen in the world,
yes,
they were great encouragement to us, yes, that have intimacy with God.
Yes. And whenever you feel like something like that is tied in with his soon coming, then you find yourself actually looking forward to the next one, because it lets you know, it encourages you that the Lord's about to come.
Tell me about the C for candlestick.
Candlestick. The Lord said that he's going to remove some candlesticks this year and the next 3 years. And he said some are going to be major candlesticks. And candlesticks stand for ministries, and ministers, it stands for churches.
I believe there's going to be a whole rearrangement of
yes,
ministries.
Yes, I do.
I mean, God's going to take out the old and the stale and bring in the fresh and the new.
Sin has crept in, leaven has come in, and it has corrupted, it has polluted, it has defiled. And the Lord said that he's not going to tolerate it. He never has and he never will. He's a holy God. And he said that he's going to remove some candlesticks. And candlesticks in the book of Revelation stands for churches and ministries. But the encouraging thing that he said to me was, he said, I will not remove candlesticks without lighting new ones and replacing the old with the new. And he said, these will be after my own heart, and ministries that I will set up, and they will burn brightly in these dark hours before my coming.